Hey everybody, Edo here, and a couple of weeks ago I put a poll in a couple different Facebook groups. One was sort of player focused and the other was Kickstarter industry focused, Kickstarter creator focused, asking for what types of videos and materials would be useful, and I gave some examples and I asked people to share what they would look for. And in both, the top item was a Kickstarter go-to-market plan. Now, things have been pretty busy. I have a Kickstarter coming up on March 23rd, Floriferous. Check it out. But I wanted to put together this material and lay it out like I have in the past so I can share it and make this template for people to use. And I've done that, so that's what I'm sharing today. The thing I want to note, really important, this isn't about me giving answers or creating an outline of every single place to look, every Facebook group, What I'm trying to do, almost with all of these, is provide a template for you as a creator to think about your Kickstarter, to think about how you are going to prepare the messaging and planning and get organized, right? So this isn't filled with specifics. I actually deleted a lot of the specifics from mine, so I wasn't in here. This is general guides of things I think about when I'm doing it. I do one of these for every project, and it's just about a go-to-market plan is thinking through the things you need to do to launch your Kickstarter. So hopefully you find it useful. There are oodles of sites on the internet that have like lists of community groups and resources. There's James Matthews and Jamie Stegmaier, like all sorts of stuff. Like it's all out there, and other folks can have compiled it. Cardboard Edison, like there's all sorts of places you can find this stuff. But again, the purpose here is to help you think about how you're approaching it, not to give all the specifics. All right, so let's check it out. So here we go. As a reminder with all of these, this is available. You are given view access. You are not given edit access. If you would like to edit, all you have to do is go to File, make a copy, make your own copy of this, name it your own game name or whatever, and it's yours, right? But I don't want people messing around and changing things. I'm always open to feedback and all of that stuff. So I will edit it, but I don't want people messing it up and messing around with it. So let's go to full screen here and get started. Well, the most important thing this is a calendar. This is time. It is a timeline towards your Kickstarter. And if you're not thinking about your Kickstarter 3 months out, 4 months out, 6 months out, a year out, start thinking, right? So I've just added calendars, the months, the days, this is good until May. You will have to go past May, add some more. If you don't know how to add stuff, you can always just add by selecting a bunch of stuff, insert to the right, and then look, we got more stuff. You might have to mess with formatting, but you can figure it out. It's a spreadsheet. As I'm going through this process, the most important thing is essentially when's your Kickstarter, how long you're going to run it. So, in this case, I worked backwards from, hey, let's say we're launching on Tuesday, May 4th. The Kickstarter I'm launching on is on Tuesday, March 23rd, Floriferous, but this one isn't. So, but perhaps you're considering different launch windows, earlier, later, maybe you're considering longer windows, shorter windows. This is a way to think about it, look at the dates and work through it. Now, in this case, for the purpose of this, let's just hide this one. You can delete it on your own, but I'm just going to hide it because, I'm not going to explain to Kickstarter. So again, once you know your dates, and this isn't a video about how many days you should run your Kickstarter. I have other videos on that, but this one is 20 days. You walk backwards. This is 7 days before the Kickstarter launch, 14, 1 month, etc. I have actually this all fits at this resolution. Mine normally goes off screen, so I actually have it locked so that you can scroll and keep this at the top. But I got rid of a lot of excess stuff. So underneath your Kickstarter, you're thinking about the process of, say, making your page. There's the Kickstarter prep and building. That's good. Let's say 3 months out, getting your Kickstarter preview together, getting it ready to go, sharing it, tuning it, clean up, doing some final touches, and then flipping it live. I I have to flip it live at 6 a.m. PST because I got other things to do during the day, but you might do it at different times. This isn't a video about when you should launch your Kickstarter. I have another video about that. But underneath here is just a series of things. You need to start with your page creation, and you'll see that there's this check and starburst. This is just ways I like to see, oh, I did that. I'm big on sort of visual indicators. So this is just a check to say that I've done it. Page creation, outline, basic session, rewards first pass, full details, main banners. So the page creation is really the first part, but then you need some art, but then you're going to submit. I typically don't have an intro video or how to play video before I submit. So why you submit? Well, if you submit, you get reviewed, and if you get reviewed, you get your Kickstarter preview page. This is a page that allows folks to sign up and say, notify me when the Kickstarter launches. You really want this as soon as possible. If you could have this 3 months out, you should have it 3 months out, right? If you can do it, just move the calendar back. But then, no one's looking at your page. You just have this up, and maybe you'll do the shipping section, get the rest of the art, you'll do the intro video, how to play. Then you're probably going to share your entire page on Facebook. It's good to get the feedback. You want to do it with enough time to address it. I can't tell you how many people share terrible Kickstarter pages 3 days before their Kickstarter. It's like, why are you doing this? Share it earlier, get some feedback. It'll help. And then, while you're in here, you do a sanity check. The week out, you do another one the day you're going to flip live. And then actually something that people don't do enough is updating new content as you go over your Kickstarter, but refactoring your page based on what's performing and what isn't, and then potentially prepping for your freeze. If you don't know, at the end of your Kickstarter, you cannot change your page. You no longer have the ability to edit it. So just a reminder to know that here. I also put a line here for Kickstarter edit updates. That's going to be based on your stretch goals and how your campaign's doing, but typically you're going to do different creators do it different way, but you'll typically do first day, second day, third day based on performance, then you're going to slow it down and maybe do it weekly, and then do it a little bit before the last 48 hours, and then do it before the final, day or hour or whatever, okay? So that's how you're thinking about your page. Right, let's go back in time. And so, again, this is just about thinking. You're thinking about this process. You're mapping it out. You're setting goals, right? Hey, marketing. What are we trying to do? Well, when we're just far out, we're just trying to make people aware. They can't, look at your Kickstarter preview page. They can't use that. You can try to get you can get you try to build your newsletter and other stuff, or your own way to grab people. But the most powerful one is when they can go to the page. So that's the sort of difference between awareness and pre-marketing. But you can name it whatever you want. Then you're a month out. You're going to really be starting your campaign marketing and countdown. And then during your Kickstarter, you'll be doing all sorts of marketing potentially. Do you have a website for your company, for your game? What are you doing? Are you working on the landing page? Is there an email sign up, a teaser, links to a Kickstarter preview? Are you going to do a full page, main page refresh? Do you want to let everyone know that it's launched? That kind of thing. Early on, you have an announcement video. Maybe you don't have too much about it, but you want to start making some video content. Later on, you'll have a hype video, which is a little bit more specific about the game, driving them to the Kickstarter. Maybe, I have my Q&As, I have my what I did differently. That's sort of specific to my channel, but whatever's appropriate, you are going to want to have a launch stream and be doing other content. You also are just going to be driving MailChimp, getting up your Google form to set up and gather emails for newsletters. You can have an announcement newsletter out. The timing depends because you don't want to overflow. It depends on how many newsletters you normally do, but then ultimately you're going to want your launch newsletter. Lastly, the Kickstarter updates. This is actually meant for other campaigns if you've done other Kickstarters, but you're going to stagger them if you've had previous Kickstarters. Now, I was recently talking with James Hudson because he doesn't stagger. He just bursts everything on the first day, and I've always done it a little bit more staggery. To each their own, whatever makes sense to you. All right. Then this is still marketing, right? But this is around paid marketing. So you're going to be prepping your materials for paid marketing. And then, I don't know. How do I want to make this paid marketing? Maybe I'll do this just so people understand that this section is about paid marketing. It's a little much. Whatever. You're going to get your collateral together. If you don't know what collateral is, it's your images and your copy. And if you don't know what copy is, it's the words. You're getting together the material you're going to market with. You probably, if you are using Facebook or other markets, you're going to probably want to do some platform marketing tests. That's another video in and of itself, but you'll probably do those in bursts of different lengths to get some information. You'll make some changes, do a burst, you'll optimize, and then you'll want to come in and get updated collateral. This is sort of, and probably actually, you'll probably do a burst there. You might also want to do a pre-campaign marketing here. How long these campaigns has to do with how much you want to spend. How do you want to approach it? Maybe you're doing a campaign for the entire length, a burst at the beginning, a burst at the end, 7, 14, all sorts of things. You might not do any paid marketing. This is way more paid marketing than I do, but I wanted to give some perspective. Okay. So down here, I have social media. And actually, I went through and I cleaned up a lot of this because on ours, it's super specific and they're like really long. But I'm just trying to give everyone, and these days don't matter. Don't look at like, oh, he said I should do 4 in a row, then take a break. I'm just trying to make it so it fits. It isn't about what's here. It isn't about the days. It's just like, this is what you're going to be doing a ton of. Adding your launch to board game group calendars, getting photos on BGG, social media shares, and awareness bids on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, right? Game info to your company page, do an Insta story, promos in Facebook groups, group promos, Pinterest pins, Facebook and Twitter, stuff on BGG, Instagram stories, daily Facebook posts, live streams, like your plans and details outlines, your photo shoot update and share, right? More calendars edition, Kickstarter previews, copyright for your launch day, photography, more promo posts, posting on Reddit, adding to BGG upcoming Kickstarter lists, posted in more groups, social media prep new game graphics for social media, contests, maintenance, right? Banner changes, Facebook group calendar ads, more banner changes, etc., etc. It's this just barrage of stuff, but you don't want to overdo it. So you need to stagger. You need to think about how you're going to rotating through things. You need to update content. You need to be thinking about how you're going to be promoting and building awareness, engagement, excitement, hype, etc. for it. And it is a lot, but it doesn't have to be like, you can plan. You can build it out. You can think of the different platforms. You can think about, what are you doing on BGG? What are you doing on Facebook? What are you doing on Twitter? What are you doing on Instagram? Are you doing anything with Pinterest? Are you doing anything with TikTok? What else? How are you handling it on your website? What other things? Is it your account? Do you have a community page? What are some fun things to do with your game? What are your themes? What are some art? Do you have enough photos? Do you need more photos, right? This is the kind of thing you should be thinking about. And this becomes a big bolt of your regular activity. And you need to be smart. You need to space it out. You can't just overdo it. People get tired of it. I mean, some of this is like, give me feedback on my page. Some of this is, what's a pretty good one and common technique for some people I know would be to like ask for art feedback on a few elements, or comparing, like you're going to get a lot of feedback if you do an ABC image. Sometimes you want the information, sometimes it's about getting feedback. So this is a big section, and I cut this down. I mean, the ones that Anna Maria has done for Pencilverse Games are like robust. Okay, so the last component here are reviewers. You're going to want to have some outreach early on to make sure you get them signed up. Video creators, web creators, BGG. Some of these may be paid, some not. You need to work through that. You'll find out during your outreach who's paid, who's not, whatever. You might have a creator doing a how to play, a photographer. I just have these notes. This is typically the unit, like which copy it is, because you're not going to have 100 of these things. For this, I left this in here, but like in the case of Foliferous, we didn't have full copies of everything, so this was like full edition, missing a lot, nothing, partial. And then these 4 columns, usually I'll say, did I prep it? Did I ship it, which will become this, and then has it arrived? Have they reviewed it? Have they posted it? And you can do whatever you want here, but that's just sort of how I see the progression of it. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to get your outreach, but you're probably not going to ship here because you probably don't have your copies. Like you probably are going to, I could shift it, but you'll probably end up shipping it here. So you can put this however you want. But once you get your first round, you'll then maybe have a second round where some of those go to other creators, right? So ideally, you can get through, getting enough in advance to get 2 shipments out of your games. That's sometimes tough. Sometimes these happen during the during the Kickstarter, and then you're just going to look at like when your releases are, like when they're going to drop. Many will be day of. Some might be early. Let me just, for the sake of an example, put it over here. Whatever. This is just to be aware of it and know what's going on. This is not the entirety of it, right? There's so much more to it. There's so much more. Like, I don't include anything here about, like, getting ready in the context of development, game readiness, how you're thinking about shipping, how you're thinking about manufacturing, like all those other things. This is a go-to-market. This is a marketing plan, right? And you need all those other plans as well. And if you'd like, you can just take this and extend it and add those in the same place. I threw in a couple things here. I cut this down. I think these videos get really long, and I want them to be tight enough that people get use out of them. I had like 5 other tabs that were the marketing, the groups and this and that, and it just was too much to go through. So I cut it down. I did leave 2 things. One, something very useful I do is this is basically a bigger version of this, and I just say who's getting it, what's their information, did I send it, is it received, are we waiting, and I just track it along, and then I have round 2 where I'm going through, and in some campaigns maybe round 3, just so I know where. You'd be surprised how easy it is to forget where your prototypes are, and then at the end getting them all shipped back if that's important to you. This is really helpful, and then I just have a scratch sheet if somebody, I find having a online thing where you can like write down this person made a note, or I found a typo in the rules, or somebody during the campaign had a special address request. Like just having a scratch page associated with the campaign where you can just list things and make sure you capture it. Oh, I got an email. It's a great way to not let things fall through the cracks. But this is just minor. This is the meat here. There's more to it, but I really believe if you sit down and you start thinking about your campaigns in advance and you organize it and you lay it all out, you will start discovering things, finding opportunities, filling gaps. It's super useful. This is also something you can share with your team so everyone knows what's going on. When are we launching? When's this thing? When's that thing? This is super useful for that kind of thing. So again, if you have your own way of doing it, great, awesome. Then this isn't for you. If you want to make some suggestions, great, awesome. But for some folks that just are, like if you're a creator who's really just a board game designer who has never done any of this stuff, I'm hoping this is useful. So here's another one. I'll share the link so everyone can get access to it. Hope it's helpful. Thanks. Bye. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.